Hello everybody, this is Yoko Anime Reactions, and obviously this is going to be a book rating for Ascendance of a Bookworm. Apparently someone left me a comment, letting me know that they are learning English through apparently, at least partially, through my book ratings of this book. Because they like the book, and, why wouldn't I want to continue it? If you're wondering what the heck I'm drinking a Kickstarter, but it's not the usual one I drank. They were out of those. So instead of getting the orange citrus one, I grabbed the pineapple orange mango. So I hope I like it. That's okay. Okay, let us continue. Let me just get rid of that. Neighborhood boys. Mom went to work, leaving Thule and I alone at home. Naturally, that meant Thule was the only source of information available to me. Hang on. Every time I get up in the morning, it takes a bit for my eyes to, I guess, wake up, because they are tired, and my vision is, even with my glasses, it's still blurry. I don't know if that means I need to get a better prescription, or that'd actually be a good question to ask the eye doctor when I see them. I'm going to make the appointment on Monday. I don't know when the appointment's going to be, but that's a good question to ask. Thule, do you know where paper is sold? What'd you say, mine? I said paper. Ah! Thule tilted her head, braids shaking, in a gesture that felt very familiar. She was making the same expression that she did when my words ended up as Japanese and she didn't understand. I didn't know how to say paper in this place's language. Oh no, I should have asked that pawn stand guy what paper is. Thule, you don't know what paper is? Sorry, I don't. The weird sounds kind of funny, though. My shoulders slumped and I let out a heavy sigh. In truth, finding a store that sold paper for books wasn't my only problem. I didn't know where to get pens or pencils either. Judging from my home and the anachronistic state of the city, I doubted I would find any ballpoint pens or mechanical pencils anywhere. It was very possible fountain pens didn't even exist yet. Girl, you might have to do quills and ink. And even then, you'd have to learn the language. Yeah, what then should I use as a writing utensil? And how could I get my hands on such a utensil? Either way, my most immediate hurdle were my lack of money and the physical strength necessary to go searching for materials. Things weren't going to be so easy for me. I can't believe Dad forgot that. I heard Thule cry out from the kitchen and went to investigate. She was holding a wrapped up something. As I recall, Dad had sleepily asked Mom to get it ready for me. I need it at work. Which ticked her off, since she's always so busy in the mornings, and he hadn't warned her at all. Yeah, that would tick anybody off. She went out of her way to find it for him, and he had forgot it. My blood ran cold just thinking about how mad Mom would be if she found that out. Thule, Mom's definitely going to get mad, right? Shouldn't you get that to Dad? You think so too? But I can't leave you all on your own, mine. Leave me in my room to go clean dishes. I'll sneak out of the bedroom and start sobbing. Oh God. Go to the market with Mom and I'll pass out. My family's faith in me had hit rock bottom, and apparently Thule wouldn't even consider leaving me home alone. But Dad will get in trouble without this, won't he? Mine, can you walk all the way to the gate? Tilly decided to take me with her rather than leave me on my own. I was a little nervous considering what happened when I was at went to the market, but I was more scared of how mad Mom would be. I'm guessing their mother's got a temper. Or she's very scary when she's angry, even if she doesn't have a temper. Oh boy. I clenched my fists and pumped the air to show my determination. I'll do my best. Let's go then. I put on several layers of clothes just like I had done when shopping with Mom, and left with the bundled something. The layers of clothing weren't me trying to be fashionable. It was entirely an effort to stave off the cold. Incidentally, to list all the clothes I owned, 2 pieces of underwear, 2 wool dresses, a wool sweater, 2 woolen trouser-esque pants, and 2 woolen socks. When going outside, I wore all of them. Good Lord. And, oh my god, I just realized. 2 pairs of underwear. She wears them both every day, I'm assuming. Or, I would assume whenever she goes out. I hope to God they clean the clothes quick often, or else mine's gonna be even more dirty than she already is. Tully, this is so heavy I can barely walk. But you need to wear all of them to cover up all the gaps. Who knows where wind will blow from? That is true. And considering how stickly her body is, that ain't gonna be good. Now, if it was summer or something, I think she'd probably be a little fine, but... I'm gonna try and figure out how to turn down the brightness of this screen a bit. There was a night light section, but it just made the screen look yellow. And I don't know if that would help. Actually, no, I'm not gonna even try. You get fevers really fast, mine, so you need to wear everything you can. I'd hope that Tuli will be more forgiving than Mom was, but her strong sense of responsibility prevented her from letting me go outside without any warm an outfit as possible to keep me safe. I gave up and put everything on, but it really did make it hard to move. I imagine so. I'm gonna get this recorded. What time is it? I'll get this recorded, make lunch, eat, and then maybe I'll get another book reading done. I'll try and get this done. I don't know how far this book goes. I'll have to look. But, yeah. We get to meet Lutz and the others. Yay! Tilly didn't put on nearly as much since she was healthy, not to mention that she had a lot of stamina thanks to her frequent trips to the forest with other kids and all the chores Mom gave her to do around the city. Yeah. Hang on, let me pull this forward a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Doesn't give me a whole lot of room for like a plate or something if I was to eat, but it's what it is. I liked both the stamina and speed. All I had was the weight of my clothes. Are you okay, mine? If we take it slow. Just like last time, I was out of breath by the time we reached the bottom of the stairs. That said, I continued to walk at my own pace. I'd just make things harder for Tuli if I forced myself to go fast and subsequently passed out. It was important that I slowly built up trust with her. I don't know if these are eye floaters or what, but they're getting in my way and they're getting annoying. And I'm not talking about the thing I was worried about yesterday. I'm talking about just regular eye floaters. Seriously though, it's really hard to walk in cobblestone. It was bumpy and I'd fall right over if I didn't watch my feet. I took Tuli's hand and let her guide the way while I directed all my attention to my feet. So yeah, you don't want to trip and make her fall too. Huh? Hey, it's Tuli. What are you doing here? I lifted up my head after hearing a boy's voice sound out from somewhere far away. 3 boys were racing up to us, carrying bundles alongside bows and arrows. Or baskets alongside bows and arrows. Their hair formed a colorful rainbow of red, gold, and pink, respectively. It was kind of hard to look away from their heads. I don't blame you. Considering I'm assuming that it was like a traditional Japanese hair color style in her world. Like, usually dark, maybe brown, So colorful hair is something she hasn't seen before. Unless she watched anime, which I don't think she did. Because she doesn't, I don't think she's seen anime before, because she would have probably referenced her being transported to another world. Their clothes were all light gray, stained with mud and bits of food. Oh, God. The faded designs on them showed that each of them were wearing hand-me-downs, and judging by how similar they looked to what we were wearing, could guess that we were all equally poor. Oh. Ah, Ralph. Hey, Faye. Tuli seemed friendly enough, so mine might have spent some time with them in the past. I rubbed my temples and went deep into thought, searching her memories. Ah, there they are. Huh. I guess they live in our neighborhood. Ralph was the same age as Tuli. He had red hair and was the tallest of the 3. He was something of a leader to the other kids, many of whom viewed him as some sort of elder brother. Faye was also as old as Tuli. He had pink hair and the face of the most mischievous prankster in the world, likely due to fear of accidentally hurting the weak and sickly mind. He usually kept his distance from her. She didn't have many memories of him. Lutz was Ralph's younger brother and had golden blonde hair. We were the same age. He usually tried to act like a tough older brother around mine, which I thought was super cute. Like a kid starting to look taller. Oh God, that hits home. I'm short. I am 5 foot. I am not even joking. I am 5 foot. Tuli generally went into the forest with them, and apparently they had brought mine along a few times. Oh, really? Those sparse memories were a lot more clear than the other ones. While I was digging through my memories, Tuli was excitedly talking with Ralph. Dad forgot something, so we're walking to the gate. Are you 3 going to the woods, Ralph? Yep, let's stick together till the gate. Tuli's beaming smile as she talked to Ralph made it clear that taking care of me was a big burden on her. Which made sense. Going to the forest with everyone was definitely more fun than help babysitting me. Yeah. Sorry for being such a bad little sister. Aw, you ain't a bad little sister. You kind of, you came in, my fever's been gone for the past few days, so I think you'll be able to go outside soon. By which I mean go outside and help me look for a store that sells paper, if you would be so kind. I don't know if she'd want to do that. Tuli's walking pace shot up the moment she joined Ralph and the others. Since we were holding hands, she basically dragged me behind her until I tripped. Oh, no. Tuli stopped in front of me so I didn't fall completely over, but I did end up on my knees. Sorry, Miney, you okay? Uh-huh. I wasn't in pain, but it was hard to stand up after getting on the ground. I wanted to just go ahead and take a nap. It's kinda hard to breathe. Uh-oh. I thought before someone stuck out a hand. Hey, Mine, want me to carry you? Lutz, you're such a good kid. I searched Mine's memories and saw that since Ralph and Faye always treated him like a little kid, he tried acting like a tough older brother around Mine, despite being the same age. He would carry her stuff, protect her whenever she ended up exhausted, and do all sorts of things that made him seem like a fine young gentleman with a bright future. Not to mention that I was much more familiar with blonde hair than pink or green, so being around him was mentally calming in a way. Like I said, sorry if I'm stumbling over some words or something, it's because these stupid eye floaters are getting in the way. Mind, you were sick again recently, weren't you? It must hurt, I'll carry you. I appreciated Lutz's good intentions, but although I was smaller than him, he was still my age. I'd feel bad making him carry me, and I was worried he might collapse under me. My internal debate over whether or not to accept was soon interrupted by Ralph sighing and taking off his stuff. We'll never get to the forest with Lutz carrying her. Here, mind, I'll carry you. Let's take my bow, Fake, and carry my basket. Ralph? Lutz glared at Ralph with a little frustration. Maybe he felt like his good deed was being swiped away. You worried about me sooner than anyone, Lutz. You're really nice, thank you. It made me happy. I smiled brightly and gave Lutz's hand a squeeze while showering him with praise. Lutz, seemingly satisfied that someone had recognized what he had done, smiled a shy smile and quietly took Ralph's bow. All right, come here. Thanks, Ralph. I walked up to Ralph and crawled onto his back, which was somewhat larger than Thule's. It was sad that a boy I knew had to carry me, but little girls such as myself had no need for shame. No need! Ralph began walking firmly ahead with me on his back. The city looked a lot different with an extra 40 or so centimeters to my height. To be more specific, I was previously spending almost all my time watching the cobblestones beneath my feet, but now I could see ahead and look at all the distant buildings. Not only that, but since he was walking at his own pace rather than my slow one, the buildings were passing by much faster. Wow, so high, so fast! Don't get too excited, alright? You'll get sick again. I'll be careful. Still though, boys who have to carry firewood home sure end up strong. He's got a lot of muscles for a kid his age. None of my Japanese classmates in elementary school had looked anything like him. Well, then again, yeah, they had hardships to deal with. Your classmates did not. Though that wasn't a fair comparison, considering our different living environments and whatever genetic difference separated them. Yeah, that is true. It was also important that I didn't compare the city to Japanese locations. I shouldn't judge these people for the filth flowing through the gutters. I mean, yeah, they don't have the technology. Or how their donkeys are pooping while they walk through. Oh, God. Yeah, you better keep an eye on the ground, mind. You don't want to step in something. Yuck. Yes, you'll drag it in the house and then you'll have to smell it. Hey, it's not like I want to look at all this disgusting stuff. It's all just so different from what I've seen in Japan that my eyes are drawn to it. Yeah. It must have been passing through a craftsman's street, since unlike the stores near the market, I couldn't see at all into the first floor stores. Those are just so goods had glass windows to show off their wares, but the stores around here just had a single signpost hanging on the doors and nothing else. Not only this, but all the buildings looked similar and were the same color. If not for that, the filth wouldn't stand out so much, and my eyes wouldn't have been drawn toward it. It's not my fault. Ralph, are you okay? Mine isn't too heavy, asked Thule, looking back and forth between Ralph and me with a worried look on her face. Or worried look in her eyes. Ralph shook himself a little to adjust my position on his back before somewhat curtly looking away. I'm fine. Mine's so small and light that I barely notice her. And you'd get in trouble if she got sick from walking, right? Judging by his embarrassed expression and tone of voice, he probably wanted to help Thule out. Or in other words, he wanted Thule to feel gratitude toward him. Oh, my sweet young Ralph, are you after my Thule? They do say that if you want to take down the general, you must first defeat his horse. I don't mind being the horse. Keep on growing, young romance. Girl, they are 7 years old. Then again, you can't have crushes that young, but that's just it, a crush. Of course, that could have just been my imagination. But Ralph then took Thule's sprite and smelled. Oh my God. What kid does that, even in that world? Smelled it and then said, Thule, I don't know why, but you smell pretty good. What are you, the protagonist of a shoujo manga? Okay, so she does read manga. I couldn't help but tease them on the inside. I mean, Tuli replied by saying, "Really? Thank you," while blushing. Who could blame me? They were both so young, I doubted they were actually in love. In a world without books or entertainment, I'd like you to forgive me for fantasizing a lot in my mind. Yeah, if you don't have books, then you gotta find entertainment some other way. I hadn't experienced a trace of romance in my life, despite being close to graduating college, and yet there was 6-year-old Tuli radiating youthful romance. I couldn't help but have a little fun fantasizing about it. I know what you're thinking, but don't say it. Maybe you'll be more popular with boys if you didn't just read books and live in fantasies all day. My family and even my neighbor Shu said that exact same thing to me. I don't want to hear it. Shu's just a big dummy. Dummy. While I was in the middle of remembering that frustration I felt back as Urano, Tuli and Ralph's childhood romance morphed into a more advanced love triangle. It's true, you do smell good. Let me see. Faye and Lutz both leaned towards Tuli's right and sniffed. If they were all boys and girls of the appropriate age, they would be about 3 steps away from battling to the death for Tuli's. Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, they are still kids. And considering Mind Shampoo is not known, of course her hair being clean and smelling good is gonna attract attention. Your hair's really silky too. What'd you do? Right. Satisfied by the looks of surprise on their faces, I nodded repeatedly. I was in the process of improving the cleanliness of my home. I dried nice-smelling flowers and put them in our clothing boxes. I had Mom boil the water we use for food before using it to cook. I wiped down Tuli's body when we bathed together. Yeah, bathed loosely, considering that's not really bathing. And I brushed her hair after using herb oil on it. It seemed the fruits of my labor were already starting to show. Although I had grown a little used to everything smelling bad in the city, Ralph and the others still stunk a bit. Oh god. I wouldn't say it out loud, since Ralph was going out of his way to carry me, but I really wanted to scrub everyone down with soap. Yeah, you need to make soap first. It was a shame that our home only had animal soap for use in cleaning furniture and clothes, no plant soap for washing bodies and having a nice smell. I want some nice smelling soap. I wouldn't blame you at all. While I was in the middle of dreaming about a world that didn't stink, Lutz took my hair. He inhaled deeply as he did with Tuli's. You smell nice too, mine. Lutz smiled warmly while looking directly at me with his jade green eyes. Oh no. Lutz has a powerful color scheme. Golden blonde hair and jade green eyes alone make him look like a super cool, handsome guy. Hello, 5 years old. Though I'm sure he'll look even better when he gets to a teenager. I can't wait till it gets to that point. I hope so. Wow, you look a lot cuter now that you're pinning your hair back and I can see your face better. A finishing blow. Even though he's a little kid, I'm feeling super embarrassed. I know he's not doing it on purpose, but goodness. Please stop. I may be kinda old, but I've never experienced anything like that. I don't know what to do. Oh, now she's getting flustered. I was the only one frozen in place and freaking out. Everyone else was already talking about what they wanted to find in the forest or how long it would take for snow to start falling. The fact that Lutz was bragging about getting better at archery, despite freaking me out like this, ticked me off. Tuli managed to just thank him, but I could only freeze in surprise. That's because she never thought about that. She didn't think of it in a romantic way. You, girl, you've read too many books. You've read too many, romance books, girl. My heart was still pounding. Is it normal for 5-ish-year-old kids to do things like that here? What's with this world? I'm a fine young Japanese maiden with a shy heart. This is way too much for me. Okay, paper unobtainable. Well, they're kind of paper, anyway. I kicked my legs around while clinging to Ralph's back, and eventually the outer wall's gates came into view. The outer wall protected the city, and up close I saw that it was really tall. Well, duh. It was about as tall as a 3-story Japanese building and was fairly thick. Like I said, duh. It's gonna be thick because you never know what kind of stuff you'll have to deal with to protect the city. There were gates at the north, east, south, and west sides of the outer walls, and several soldiers at each one checking those who came inside. We had reached the south gate, and we could see several of these soldiers. One of them should be my dad. I couldn't tell which was him, but Thule could somehow. She hugged the wrapped-up thing to her chest and ran towards him, waving hard. Dad! You forgot something. You need this, right? Dad blinked in surprise as Thule handed him the thing with a bright smile. So nice. You're way too nice, Thule. All I cared about was avoiding Mom's wrath over him forgetting what she worked so hard to make. Or to find. Whatever the heck it was. Because I don't think we ever find out what it was. Yeah, I do need it, thanks. Wait, did you leave mine alone? Nuh-uh, I brought her with us, see? Ralph carried her on his back. Dad's eyes, wavering due to feeling bad about having not noticed me, plopped a hand on Ralph's head. Thanks for carrying her, Ralph. We were on our way to the forest anyway. Ralph lowered me to the ground, looking a little annoyed at how Dad was ruffling his hair. He then took back his stuff from Faye and Lutz. Thanks, Ralph. You too, Lutz and Faye. After seeing Ralph and the others through the gate on their way to the forest, Thule and I were taken to a waiting room within the inner gate. The outer wall was large enough to fit a room of about 9 square meters of size inside. It wasn't that big, but there was apparently other waiting rooms, and a room for those on night duty too. Our waiting room had a simple table, a bench, and a single cabinet with shelves. I looked all around, feeling like a tourist in a foreign country, and soon one of Dad's co-workers brought in a cup of water for us. You certainly raised your daughters well, I see. It took about 20 minutes for a child like Thule to walk from home to the gate, so I appreciated the water. I gulped down the water in the wooden cup and let out a big sigh of relief. That was tasty. Finally, I can rest my sore legs. You barely walked on your own, mine, said Thule with pursed lips, causing everyone to burst into laughter at once. I humphed, but since everyone had seen Ralph carrying me, I couldn't say anything back to her. As I drank down a second cup of water, a single soldier entered the room. He took out a toolbox-looking thing from the cabinet and immediately left. It looked like he was in a hurry, so I looked around. Did something happen out there, Dad? Probably just someone needing special attention at the gate. Nothing to worry about. Dad waved it off, but his hurried behavior did get me a little worried. Would things really be okay? I mean, a soldier guarding this gate is hurrying around. Doesn't that spell trouble? In sharp contrast to me, Thule tilted her head in confusion without looking worried at all. Someone needing special attention? Have I ever seen someone like that? Despite passing through the gate frequently, Thule couldn't immediately imagine someone who would make a guard rush that much. I'm assuming it's a noble. So of course Thule wouldn't have seen that. Dad rubbed his stubble and searched for the right words. Yeah. Think someone suspicious looking who's probably a criminal, or maybe the opposite, and it's a noble we need to inform Lord Ehrenfest, whatever the heck, about before letting them in. Wow, apparently they just judge people on their looks. Well, I guess there's no helping that. This world doesn't seem like it would have a robust information network or anything of the sort. Soldiers had no way of researching the backgrounds of anyone coming inside. We have them wait in a separate room while the higher-ups decide on whether or not to let them inside. So that's why there are so many waiting rooms by the gate. I get it. I bet the waiting rooms for nobles and the waiting rooms for suspicious-looking people are totally different in size and furnishing. Probably. My thoughts were interrupted after the young-looking soldier with dark brown hair and gently calm brown eyes came right back, carrying the box and something rolled up into a tube shape. His expression lacked any sense of emergency. Dad was right. Apparently hadn't been anything that serious. The soldier, bundling up the box and rolled in his left hand, stood in front of Dad and tapped his right fist against the left side of his chest twice. Dad stood up, correcting his posture, and repeated the same fist-tapping gesture. That was probably the salute of this world. Otto, your report? I let out a tiny, odd noise after seeing Dad make a serious expression unlike anything I had ever seen at home. He usually looked so lazy and relaxed, it was a real change of pace. When serious, he actually looked pretty cool. Count Lowenwald is requesting entry. And a seal? Checked and confirmed. Alright, let him through. Otto gave one more salute before sitting in the chair on the opposite side of ours. He put the box on the table and spread out the roll beside it. It was smooth as paper and had a distinctive scent that made my eyes locked on it. Parchment? I didn't know for sure if it was parchment, but it definitely looked like paper made from animal skins. I was used to paper made from plants, but older paper was often just dried animal skin, called parchment. This world's language was written on it, though I couldn't read the letters. As I stared at it with wide open eyes, Otto took a bottle of ink and a red pen out of the toolbox and began writing something on the parchment. Writing? There's someone who knows how to write in front of me. He's the first man of culture I've met in this world. I definitely want him to teach me this world's lettering system. Dad rustled my hair and asked, "What's wrong?" as I stared at Otto's moving hands. I looked up at him and pointed at what I believed to be parchment. I had to learn what it was called in this world's language if I wanted to talk about it. Dad, what's that? That's parchment, paper made from goat or sheepskin. And the black stuff? Ink. He's running with the pen. I knew it. I found my ink and paper. I'll be able to make books with this stuff, no problem. It depends on how abundant it is. If it's not very abundant, then no. You'll have to find a different way. Did you hate it when you feel like you gotta clear your throat? It's annoying. Holding back the urge to jump with joy, I squeezed my hands together in front of my chair and looked up at Dad. Dad, can I please have them? No, these aren't toys for children. I didn't want it as a toy. Hang on. Dang it, go away. My full power begging, using all my childhood cuteness was shut down instantly. Of course, I wasn't the kind of girl who would give up after being told no once. Back when I was a Rano, people said I was the most stubborn and persistent person they have ever met. Oh, God. It was time to show Dad just how fierce I could be when it came to books. I want to write just like that. I want paper and ink, please. No, not a chance. You don't even know your letters, mine. Well, I want to learn. It was true that ink and paper were useless to someone illiterate, which is exactly why Dad's statement was the perfect chance for me. Then teach me. I want to learn. Will you give me ink and paper if I learn? If his young-looking subordinate could write, then Dad could definitely write. He was like their captain. I didn't expect anyone in a house with no paper would know how to write, but that seemed to be a fortunate misunderstanding on my part. My dreams of reading books in this world might come true soon if Dad taught me to read. As I beamed a bright smile, feeling as if I had taken a giant leap toward what I wanted, more than anything else, I heard a chuckle. I turned toward its source and saw that Otto, who had been listening to us while writing, had burst out into helpless laughter. Teach you? Don't you barely know how to write, Captain? The moment I heard that, I felt a crack run through my very soul. Even I could tell that my smile had frozen in place, as if a bucket of cold water had been dumped over me. What? Dad, you don't know how to write? I can read or write a bit. I need to know how to read parts of the paperwork I deal with. But that's it. Best I can do is write down the names I learn. Or here. Oh. I looked at Dad with cold eyes as he made excuses with a sullen expression. So basically, in terms of my original world, he kinda knows the alphabet and can write the names of his friends, I guess. Since Otto said barely, he probably like a first grader who'd miswrite even those names. Hey now, don't look at your father like that. Otto, the culprit behind my respect for Dad shooting up and then immediately dropping down, chastised me a bit with a somewhat worried expression. Then, as if covering for Dad, he began to explain what kind of work soldiers did. Soldiers work to preserve city peace, but when it comes to important business involving nobles, it's really the knights who take care of the paperwork. A simple spoken report suffices for less important incidents, so his work rarely involves reading. Just being able to write names is more than enough. Dad puffed out his chest with pride, his mood brightened by Otto's follow-up. My cold gaze had cut him surprisingly deep. Rural townsfolk are even worse off. Usually only town chiefs can read it all, so your dad's plenty amazing. Okay, my amazing dad. I want paper and ink. Please give them to me. Please give me them. If he was that amazing, then he should show it by giving his cute daughter about 100 sheets of paper. There's no way he's gonna have that much. But my begging was met by Dad taking a fearful step back. Why? Who would dump a whole month's wages on a piece of paper for their kid? Wait, what? A month's wages? Just how expensive is parchment? I can see why he's so hesitant to give me some now. That also explained why there was no paper in our house, or why I couldn't find any bookstores. Parchment was just too expensive for commoners. My family was already just barely scraping by. There was no way they'd spend their precious wages on paper to make a book. I slept my shoulders depressed, and Otto ruffled my hair. In the first place, I don't think that there are any stores that sell parchment to commoners. Paper is used by nobles, government officials, and rich merchants with connections to nobles. If you just want to learn your letters, why not use a stone slate? I can give you the one I used to use a long time ago. Aww. Adorable. Otto's awesome. Really? I'd love it. I immediately nodded, and he graciously promised to give me his old slate. While I was at it, I wiggled my way into having him teach me. Thank you, Mr. Otto. I'm so glad you're going to teach me letters. As I beamed a broad smile, Dad looked between me and Otto with a fairly pathetic look on his face. But I pretended not to notice. I was very excited to learn letters and own a slate, but what I really wanted was a book and the paper to make one. Well, baby steps. You gotta be able to know your letters and all that first before you can even think about writing a book. Because if you have the paper and stuff to make it, there's no way to make it if you don't know how to write. You really can't ask someone to do it for you. You could ask someone to do it for you who knows how to write. After all, you couldn't store information on a slate. It was like a chalkboard that you wrote on, then cleaned off. Perfect for learning letters, but nothing compared to a book. Still, the fact that stores didn't sell paper to commoners came completely out of left field. How could I make books without paper? Or in other words, what would I do if I couldn't get paper? There was only one answer. I would just have to make some myself. The road to getting a book is so long. Yep. Let me see how this is looking so far. I think I can stop here. I hope you guys enjoyed this so far, and I'll see you guys next time.